Morning everybody and welcome to ESO Daily. I'm your host Mr. Craven. Alright guys, so I'm on PTS. I'm testing out a couple of things and I wanted to check out, there's been a lot of controversy on some of the asylum weapons. I'm still going through a lot of stuff, but I want to talk about one of the sets that a lot of people are disappointed in. They really didn't put their fingers on it. At least a lot of the main ones haven't. It seems to be bugged is the problem. It's not appealing because it's bugged. I don't know how they overlooked it from their metrics. I mean, I'm going over it. I'm like, why in the fuck is this not working? It's supposed to, but it's not. So I'll get into it. Okay, when I deal damage with Whirlwind, I add 8 seconds to an active twin slash, lacerate, blade cloak, over time effect. Now, here's the deal. This effect can only occur once per cast of those abilities. Right? So it can only work one time per cast. Right? And as I'm going over it, I'm like, this is crazy. I don't know if it's whatever. But when I hit this and hit the blade cloak, I'm getting 14 seconds down here on my timer, right? You'll see it, 8, 7, 6, all the way to the right, the icon is. All right. It shows up right beside my Munda. So you just saw 14 seconds after the Whirlwind. That should have acted, when I did the Whirlwind, it should have activated the proc from the Chaotic Whirlwind set. Now look, I'm not going to activate the Chaotic Whirlwind set. I'm just going to activate the Blade Cloak. There it is, 14 seconds. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the extended tick. Right? I'm supposed to get 8 seconds. 8 plus 14 is 22. Should be 22 seconds. But it's not happening. At all. I've done every friggin' ability. I switched out a couple of things. And it's not procking is the problem. It's not procking up the set right. It's just not doing it. You know? You have to use the Whirlwind. Anytime you activate Whirlwind, it's supposed, when you deal damage with Whirlwind. There it is, 14 seconds. It's not adding those. That's why it's not appealing at the moment. Now, if they fix this, and I'm going to report the bug, if they fix it, would that make a difference? Well, yeah. You know, as far as like long durated fights, it will. It'll be more appealing. Will it increase damage proc? Or main damage spike? No. But when you're in between RNG and you're between mechanics, it's going to become more friendly, right? Because that's one less downtime you have to worry about. So it'll have a lot more functionality when they fix it. And I imagine they will, but until they fix it, it's not appealing. Now, some of the other Asylum weapons still look good. This is why it is called PTS. Because we're testing it, you know. Hey, what's up, David? It's morning here, but good afternoon where you're at. Excuse me. But yeah. So, it's definitely bugged. But once again, we're on PTS. So that's what we're here for. This is our jobs. Find out what's working, what isn't, report it. Get it done. So that's why the Chaotic Whirlwind is not attractive. I don't know how on their test they managed to overlook the obvious. Oh, morning Mustang. I'm good. How are you? But like I said, when they fix it, it will definitely have. Don't you use it when you have the dots activated? Well, Zane, here becomes the question. It's supposed to add the timer, right? Even if it didn't add the timer, it should reset 8 seconds on the timer. And it has to be. I'm just using I'm just using the test ones they give us in the pack, Zane. So that's the only reason I'm not using perfected yet. It's the one in the crates they give us. You can go get the perfected if you wanted to, but when you go to the I can use it. Maybe I should have it. Yeah, I got the perfected. But I just wanted to test it. On the normal ones, it's whatever. But let's check it out. Because the normal one, it's not working at all. Okay, that's 8 seconds. Oh no, they're all 8 seconds, Zane. These are just traded different traits. So the ones they give us in the pack to test, Zane, are all 8. The 8-second ones. I think that is perfected, actually. I think the other one's 6. The non-perfected should be 6. I want to say. Let me check. Go on the PTS forums and find out real quick. Oh. Checking it out right now. Okay. Full. I think I passed it up. Check. Nope, 10 seconds. So it's 2 more seconds for perfected. Yeah, I mean, I kind of get where you're at, Zane. Why? Also, because it's not actually increasing anything into the damage. So I get what you're saying on that. Because I think it'll have a purpose with the RNG. As far as, you know, not having to recast and sustain longer and not having to worry about resource pull. So I kind of like the idea behind it. It sucks that it doesn't actually do anything as far as incrementally increasing your DPS. But the one thing that we don't see, it's bugged. It's completely fucking bugged. There's no addition to it. None. We're not getting anything as far as increase. Now, it's also funny because I've been playing with some of the master weapons and stuff. Now, I haven't been using any form of Vet DSA or master weapon since 1 Tamriel because I double stack. And I used to get more damage from proc monster sets versus stacking the stat increase. That was intentional, or I'd have a proc up on my Magicka builds more and more. You could run a single target staff if you wanted to for the boost. It was panning out. They updated the weave damage a while ago. Now it's like a bonus for the weapons themselves, right? So if I go in and I switch out, I no longer have the boost to max stamina for Master Bow. or even VMA bow, it would be the weapon damage. But interesting enough, the way this works now with the 301, you're actually dealing more damage because of the tick timer. So it's interesting. So now, with delayed costs, depending on which weapons you're going to use, you may not even want to use a monster set. No, what ends up happening, that's what I just showed you, Zane. Okay, so say I'm in here. If I don't use Whirlwind, I have to use Whirlwind to activate it. If I don't use Whirlwind, the standard duration, right? Let's go to skills. The standard duration is already 15 seconds, but when it procs, it'll show 14-second count because the 1 second is already applied, right? So you're going to see 14 seconds right there on my down here below, right here. Deadly Cloak on the bottom right-hand corner, 14 seconds. Now, when I use Whirlwind and reapply it, I should get an extra 8-second duration, right? So, Whirlwind, Cloak. But look, no added time. And it dissipates. It doesn't reset it. It doesn't do anything to add that extra timer. That's why the Chaotic Whirlwind set isn't appealing. It's bugged. It's not even proccing. It's not working. It's completely broke at the moment. But we are on PTS. This is what we do. This is their job. Also, kind of interesting enough, and like I was saying, it seems because of the tick timer on master weapons, depending on what you're doing from my initial test, depending on each setup. You want me to try that? Okay. That makes sense. Let's try it. Ah, good job, Zane. Good call, dude. But see, it should have added it from the get, so you have to do it that way. It's kind of interesting. So, let's... Now, but you have to do it on the recast. Right. Right. Exactly. That's why I was taking it. I'm testing it. I'm like, why is this? Now, here's another thing. Can we get the effects to stack it up? Okay. Yep. It does. So if we put Whirlwind in between our rotation, yeah. But that's kind of where I'm agreeing with some of the other ones, why it's so clunky. If they would just add it from the rip, like if you cast and then add, that would be a better effect versus casting it and then hitting it for the proc. I like it. I like the abilities as far as trying to maintain duration, especially with mechanics. But it's clunky as far as, like, you know, as if it, like it's having to keep doing this in between and setting up everything. Now I did try. I don't like the ability as far as the dual wield. I think you're going to get more from Flawless Dawnbreaker if you decide to use the set because of the boost. It affects 3 dual wield abilities. So it'll affect your rendering slashes, your deadly cloak, and your ultimate. But I don't like the ultimate because it's an AoE effect, has to be applied. It's cheap, but you'll lose DPS on these effects, and you'll pick up more running Flawless Dawnbreaker because of the passives. So I like the Flawless Dawnbreaker on the duel because it picks up all your effects, especially your flurry. Makes a difference. So to me, that's kind of, they either need to, that tooltip's funky. That tooltip is really flipping funky. When you deal damage with Whirlwind, it should say after you, when you use Twin Slave, it should say more like when you activate Twin Slashes, Lacerate, and Blade Cloak and apply Whirlwind, receive an extra 8 seconds on those effects. That's how it should be worded. Not when you deal damage with Whirlwind. It should say when you deal damage, because you have to deal damage initially. So when you deal damage with Twin Slashes, Lacerate, and Blade Cloak, you add 8 seconds after using Whirlwind. So it should say that. It should say when you deal damage with Twin Slashes, Lacerate, Blade Cloak. But no, that was awesome. Like, can I juggle it? No, because it says once. Like, for example, let's go ahead and hit the Blade Cloak. See, it won't add it. It won't juggle it. I have to keep recasting, you see? And that'd be badass if you could, though. That would be so badass if you could juggle it. If you could keep, like, keep procking it and rejuggling it, that would be a cool effect. I think it'd make it a little bit too overpowered. But I think you made the point from the initial rip. The problem with this set, to me, it's clunk. It's just, it's the tooltip's not worded right. So we figured out that it's not Whirlwind and then activating it. You actually have to hit it after. So that tooltip wording needs changed. Should be changed anyways. Because that's kind of a little whatever. And it doesn't add any damage. Now for RNG it's good. As far as like, it still will maintain like cost resource. But when we take a look at the skill cost, right? Whirling Blades is relatively cheap. Now, I use Whirling Blades versus Steel Tornado. The reason being, I'm going to get Major Endurance. So I'm going to get stamina recovery up by 20%. That's one of the main reasons I'm getting my Major Endurance. So I'm just wondering, I think they need to do something with this set as far as either rewording it or something. Now, I tried a couple different sets. But I think the Chaotic Whirlwind is just, I like the premise of it, but they need to reword this to get the tooltip to work a little better. And it's so situational. Like, it's more of an RNG, it's more friendly for RNG purposes, but not for increasing damage. That's the problem. That's the problem with the set. It's the problem with it. It's not going to increase the damage because I could recast it after 14 seconds. The only thing it's saving me is resources. That's it for a few seconds. That's all it's doing. It's saving me the resource cost at the cost of using Whirlwind again. I don't know. To me, it's just like, okay, whatever. No, right. No. As far as ads, you're right, Zane. If you're in mobs, you're 100% right. Especially with mechanics, boss mechanics that will have like any type of mob spawn, like in halls of fabrication. You're right. It will. But given the fact that you lose, you don't get a damage boost to the abilities, because of the set. That's kind of where I like the Flawless Dawnbreaker, to make up, slotting it to make up for it. But you're right, because when we go into skills and we go to dual wield, you're absolutely 100% right. I would suggest the Thriving Chaos. The reason being, you're getting the extra 5% for the duration for a maximum of 30% more damage. So when we're talking mobs and a lot more to hit, this set, this Chaotic Whirlwind, definitely becomes more attractive in mob situations or mechanical situations because of those durated fights. But in your majority of your circumstances, you're going to sacrifice upfront damage for sustain. That's what you're doing, more or less. That's what it's doing in some of those situations. But the one thing I like I said, what I've been testing is these ticks on some of these sets, like the Master. It's actually, I'm getting a faster up, like 100% uptime, like on the bow now. No, there's no global cooldown. Increase your buy weapon, you know, and then you get the enchantment. You lose the stat, but if you double stack a set with no monster set and go with Maelstrom, bow, and VM May daggers, that is a whole different beast. Morning, Lewis. Like, the damage difference is a hell of a significance. I mean, bad. Because this becomes the question for me when I took the look at the Maelstrom. It's 10 it's 10 seconds, right? On the single target for bleed. Now, when I take a look at like something for my monster set, I'm getting 8 seconds on Stormfist, but it's like 16 seconds on Vipers, I believe. So let me go into Vipers. It's like 15, 16 seconds. It's just crazy. I was like, this is, or let's go with Veladrath. 9 seconds. So, to me, it's like it's because of the stack. There's no proc, it's stacked. So and it's not this. It's like, say if you go Huntings. Let's get into this. Okay. So let's say I go Huntings and whatever other primary set I'm using, either Two Fang, Spriggans, whatever. Because, or you can go with Vicious Ophidian as a static along with maybe Huntings or something. It doesn't matter. Now, if we replace the entire friggin' monster set, don't even use it. Now use head. Go double static, right? Especially if you're going to use a set like Huntings and Two Throw. Or not Two Throw. Huntings and Two Fang, and then go with the Thief for your critical value. Now, if you're using a crit set, you could go with the Lover, especially for Stam. Magicka, not necessarily. Things would have to change. But if you it becomes the question now: do you want to roll a monster set at all with the new setup? The way they did the weapons with the tick, it becomes the question. It literally becomes the question. I get 10 seconds at 2,000 per on any damage over time after flurry, but it has to be single target. That's the downside, right? Where the monster set might have an AoE effect. So now you literally are put in a position like great for single target, bad for AoE. And the damage is noticeable because I'm double set. You know, I don't have to set up on a back end to lose out on the bow side, because even on my bow side I have it, right? So when I go to the bow side, it's all static now. I have the bow. I have the 5-piece of this. I have the 5-piece of the other set. No matter what configuration you put together, it's made the tick timer now becomes significant for master weapons and VMA weapons, depending on what you want to sacrifice in that ability. And I think this is probably going to be the new setup. It's going to be the new way to go. I'm not going to say the M word. Please don't make me say it. I won't. I don't want to. It's just appealing. Giving up the monster sets if you're going to want to configure master or maelstrom weapons together. If you want to go with master bow and you want to go with monster set and you don't want to go with the dual wield, you're fine with that. You're great. But let's say, for example, I don't want to go dual wield. Let's say I want to go two-hander, right? So if I go to supplies and I go into the maelstrom, where is it? Now, that was another thing I was testing, was traits. Once again, everything's going to be situational depending on what numbers you're going to need as far as traits of your weapons. Nernholm is really doing great. It is. Still. But if you're not rolling with that, if you need crit, precise, if you want a little boost to the enchant and get more upfront on the GCD, infused. If you need more penetrating value, mace, make sure. So, but let's say I don't want to use bow, right? I mean, I'm not saying you would go this route. I'm not saying you would. But I'm making a point here. Let's say, for example, I'm not going to go dual wield, right? I want to use the Maelstrom Battle Axe. I want to use a bow. I don't want dual wield. Let's say I don't want dual wield, right? So now I have the axe. When I switch out, I now have the bow, and I'm double stacked on 2 sets. The only thing I'm giving up is the proc of a monster set, and I'm not having to worry about stacking the stat because I have 2 full statics sets applied at all times. So my penetration from like a 2-finger or Spriggans is constant. My bonus from my Hundings now is constant. Because now I don't have to worry about losing as much DPS depending on the circumstance. So if I go dual wield, I get better single target DPS. If I want the effect from the monster set, I can give up the Maelstrom. So it becomes more optional. It doesn't become so like it has to happen in this way. You have to have a monster set or you have to have the Maelstrom. It becomes like which is going to be more beneficial so you don't lose. Once again, you have to lose something. You're going to have to. It's the way this game's designed. But double stacked sets now. Because the uptimes are just crazy. The ticks are fast. And enchanting now. You can enchant with increase. And believe me, yeah, it's real. It's completely fucking real. I'm not saying the M word, guys. It's not going to happen. But yeah. So you're losing a stat. A lot of people were complaining, bitching. Okay. They fucked up our Maelstrom and weapons because we lost our spell damage and weapon damage and we lost, you know, a stat. What you gained was way more significant. Okay? Let's say I go in here, right? I go to weapon enchantments. I hit this bitch with an increase, right? Let's get this really going on here. Okay, that's a good question. The major problem, a lot of people don't run two-handers. There's a couple different reasons, Lewis. Let me explain this. A lot of mechanics will have a ranged setup. Yes, you are right, Zane. Correct. I tried to see if I could get away. I actually tried to see if I could bug the game to tricking the whole master and dual wields and stuff, but no, yeah. The devs got it base covered. Yeah, you need both. You do. Right. That's why I'm saying are you willing to give up a monster set with this update? Because if you're willing to give up the monster set, let me say this. If you're willing to sacrifice the monster set, right? Because you have if you have your Maelstrom weapons or in your VMA weapons, your timers and your tick is going to be nuts. Because look, this is the whole deal. All right, if I enchant this, I get 452 weapon damage for 5 seconds, right? That's pretty good. Right? That's because when I go in here, I'm going to get that bonus to my stat. There it is. 2,440. Right? And it keeps applying. You're getting more. You're getting a shitload more. Now, if you go with infused, now I think they fixed the whole infused carryover thing situation. So, but because of like the way infused was bugged up once, so I believe that's all done. So if you go Nirnholm, you're going to get a base added. You're going to get a faster uptime on weapon damage. You give up the monster sets, your ability damage is going to be out the fucking roof. It's going to be nuts. Because you go with penetration set, you go with the crit set like Hundings or Night Mothers, depending, whatever. Scrap the... well, unless you're running VO. If you need more sustain, you're going VO, whatever. Are you going to run something like War Machine? Nope. You won't do it. War Machine's going out the fucking window. It'll be shit. Because you've got to have ultimate. That's considerably downtime on your DPS. It's going to suck. A set like my Alkosh, my beloved Alkosh, it'll be useful in trials to apply debuff. Not saying it won't. But damage-wise, if you want more raw damage, I'm going to guarantee you're going to go Hundings. You're going to either go 2 throw Spriggans. I prefer Spriggans. No monster set. And Maelstrom and Master Weapons. Because the uptime tick changed. Yes, you lost the stat. It's not broken. It's not shit. It's not even shit. It's not even close to shit. Because now you put the enchantment on there. You put the increase. Let's say I go Infused Bow with the Nirnholm swords. Right? Daggers. Whatever. Yeah. No, that's real. That is real. The only thing is I'm going to lose a proc effect. I'm going to lose a CD. I'm going to exchange one CD for another CD, but increase because I can't enchant my monster set. Right? It's proc. I can enchant my trait as far as like, oh, okay, you know, I have more stamina. Who gives a shit? I'm getting 400 and something extra weapon damage every so many seconds on top of the abilities proc, which uptime is always there. It's consistent. It's 100%. Without a question. As long as your rotation's down. Yep. It's the new setup. Monster sets will be suffering. Nobody will be using them. Nobody will use trial sets on Magicka. I haven't used it since Horns of the Reach. Fuck a trial set on my Magicka. Anyways. Fuck it. Anyways. But now? Whew. Yeah. Yep. It's crazy. It's nuts. But it's true. I'm getting way more damage on just messing around, playing with it, and losing and dropping the monster set, because I can enchant them, I can play with them, I get a lot more, I can get restores, I can get... It's true that I'm losing the stat, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. So there it is, guys. I'm going to go ahead and we'll play around today. I got a lot of things to still test around and mess with, but with this update, if I decide... Now, let's say you don't want to use Master Weapons. Your DPS will still be good with the old configurations. That's fine. That's fine. If you still want to go with a back bar bow or one-handed or staff, that configuration is still going to work. Yeah. I feel you, David. If you don't want to roll with the Master Weapons or Maelstrom, you'll be fine without it. You can still roll the monster set, and you'll still be fine. You can still get through the content. It's not a necessity. I don't want people thinking it's a necessity. But if you're going to do vet hard mode trials, and we're going to really push out a shitload of damage without a proc, this is going to be a new configuration. Double stack sets. No monster. Gone. Out the window. They killed him. People thought they killed the Master Weapons, Maelstrom Weapons. Bullshit. Bullshit. If anything, it made them a hell of a lot stronger in the long run, because of now the enchantment added to the proc. Made them a hell of a lot stronger. The question of it is, are you going to give up one proc for another? And if you're going to be a long haul and you're going to parse it, and if you're going to try to parse it, I will tell you right now, 100% fact, this configuration comes out on top. Comes out on top, without a doubt. Put in, no matter what setup you're going with, it's going to come out on top. Personally, I would go Hundings and Spriggans. If you need a little bit more crit, go with the Tooth Throw by all means. Hit it up close to about 60. So if you need that extra crit, go with Tooth Throw. I mean, not Tooth Throw, Two Fang. So if you need it, I would go Hunting, Spriggans. But if you need that extra crit stat, Huntings and Two Fang. But if you don't need that extra crit, go with the Spriggans. You're going to do more damage. Sack the monster set. Don't even wear one piece. Grab the Maelstrom bow and grab the fucking daggers. And pop up the slashes. You're going to deal a shitload more damage and enchant. Get the bow infused and get the daggers in friggin' Nirnholm. One in Nirnholm, main hand Nirnholm on dagger, back bar infused. That's what you want for the dagger configuration. If I'm going to go with the daggers, let's say I do it, right? And let's say I need the Nirn, hold on. Maelstrom, one-hander. So let's go down here. All the way down, Nirnholm, right? I could go with the dagger. It'll give me a little bit more. So let's say I do a mace, right, for more penetration. Nirnholm, right? I want that main hand all the time. It's going to give me the most. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with the infused mace. Nirnholm. Why? Because I can still proc that. What is the master? You just want to know what it looks like? Okay, sure. The master shield? Should be up here. That's what the Master Shield looks like. Right there. It's okay. Not really my thing. Yeah, whatever. A lot of people ask me. I might actually have to go farming again. Unfortunately. A couple pieces I don't have. I can trade a few of the ones I have. But this will be a pretty much like one of the main setups. Infused bow. Nirnholm base. Why? Okay, simple. Okay, wait a minute. So I need to switch these around. Cheers, ha. Yeah. So, let's go here. Let's go up to the bow. We're going to go with the infused. We could go Nirnholm, but now, for me personally, I'll probably go, you'll always want the Maelstrom hand, this. I want this. I'm going to want to go into my supplies. I'm going to want to increase on the back hand with the infused. Which I don't have. But you'd want to do it. For sure. I'm out. I'd have to go get another one. But if you do it, it'll proc it. Yep. No. But yeah, reason being, you're going to get that uptime. Here's our weapon damage before. Here's after. You could go with the Nirnholm. Telling you guys, seriously, this is probably going to be one of the better up setups. No monster set. Half the EU server was farming Spriggans, eh, David? You don't say! Really? Wonder why. I wonder why. Yeah. I think they need to do something about Chaotic Whirlwind, though. They need to do something for the set. A little bit more. You know, it's sad, but no monster set if you have Maelstrom. If you have a master weapon in Maelstrom and you think they fucked it up, no. That did not happen. I assure you. I was like, you know, I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, if anything, it makes me not. Actually, if anything, I haven't been back. I haven't been in a VMA since one Tamriel. Haven't been there. Haven't needed the fuckers. I was like, I don't fuck it. And the charge rate. I really hope they put some to charge rate. Please, Zoss, fix the charge rate on Master and Maelstrom weapons. For God's sakes, the charge rates suck. I hate it. If they could fucking do that, that was another thing that pissed me off about the weapons. It's like the charge rate on these fuckers suck. But if anything, it makes me not want to use a monster set. If I'm thinking long term, and I'm thinking now, I like monster sets. I like procs. I like it. That's a good aspect of the game. I like the way it does it. But considering all the nerfs to the monster sets, and now I'm going to get the enchantment boost along with the Maelstrom item boost, why am I going to use a monster set? I'll double stack the sets. And I'll have a continuous. Boom! Over with. It's the way it's going to be. It's the way it's going to happen. No monster sets. Double stack. Forget most of your trial sets unless you're using it for a purpose. If you need sustained VO, but if you're wanting damage, you're not going to go VO. You're going to say, fuck Vicious Ophidian if I want more damage. If I have enough sustain in your resources and you have enough, you're not going to use Vicious Ophidian. If you're not, unless you're using Alkosh like I do for a DPS, yeah, charge rates. When you have to recharge your weapon, you see up here how it has a charge. There's an energy bar. In Maelstrom and Master Weapons and VMA weapons, this is the worst charge. They hold the worst versus any other drop weapon or crafted weapon. You get a drop or crafted, I don't know, like, I wish you could see the charge, but seriously, these things, I will have to charge this in a trial, a normal trial, at least twice for the run. If I'm in vet, possibly 3 times. Because every time I activate the enchantment, it takes the charge off of it. Anytime I weave, it takes a percentage of the charge off of it. But usually it takes bigger portions when the enchantment is deducted, how the charge rates work. And they have the worst. So Zos, please fix my charge rates. Can I get better charge rates on these weapons? Can I? I'm just asking, man. Please, please, please. Pretty please. I won't beg, but it'll be close to it. But yeah, if anything, it's going to make me want to go back in, maybe vet DSA and maybe VMA. Is it going to be a necessity? No. No, it won't be. It won't be a necessity. But for top end results, that's the way it's going to be. It's going to be a fact. Nothing you're going to sacrifice the monster set. You're going to say bye, Veladreth. Bye, Krogs. Bye. See you. Peace. Yeah. You had something Neology, but it was retracted. But it's going to be gone. They're going to be completely gone. I've been playing with it. I've tried it. And it's nuts. Because the uptime is just good. It's just really, really good. I'm not losing anything but a proc, and I have 2 standard sets constant. I'm gaining, no matter what I'm going to look at, no matter what configuration, because my configuration affects my monster's proc, right? Like, that's what it is off of. My monster set is based off my configuration. So if I put Stormfist on, right? This bottom number is going to be affected. My 11,040, right? So for example, I have a crit set on. Let's say I want to get rid of the crit set. Now let's take a look at this. 11,040, right? I'm gonna replace the crit set. Fuck the crit set for a minute. Yes, exactly. The Master and Maelstrom weapons will crit. Monster sets aren't going to. That's why I'm losing. That's why you're going to lose. You're going to. It's just that simple. I hate it. I hate it. To be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. I'm not happy about it. Okay. So let's say I do this and I go with like a 2-throw set. Or the 2-fang. So I have 3 pieces of 2-fang. I got 5 of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now looky. Oh, it didn't go up. Should have. Well, I could switch my Mundus. 1 second. Let's go with the Warrior. Real quick. Wasn't enough to pull it up. Yeah, that'll do it. Or is it capped? Is that capped? It is capped. Oh, anyways, it's not gonna happen, Zane. They'll never do it. It's never going to happen again. As much as I would love for that to happen, as much as I would enjoy it, they won't ever do it. But the new configuration is I'm going to sacrifice that because I'm dealing 11,008 seconds on an AoE, which is great. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But like Uology just pointed out, it's not going to crit. If I go with, like, say, something more like a double setup stack, like, say I'm not running I need Thief, but let's say I run 2 penetration sets. So I have this, I go with, nope, 2 Fang, 2 Fang, and Spriggans right here. Okay, so I have that. I have 2 throw and Spriggans, right? What am I going to need? I need crit. My crit's going to be shit, right? So I'm going to take it. I want to take the Thief. Okay, now I have maces on. That's going to be way too much because it's going to be way too low. Well, it's 54. That's not too bad. But I'm going to go a dagger. Let's say I go daggers because my penetration is there. I don't need maces now. Don't need them. Done. All right, so I'm going to go into Maelstrom, dual wield. I'm going to pick up daggers. Simple. I'm going to grab a Nirnholm, and best believe I'm going to grab an infused. Probably. Well, depends on the build or what I'm trying to do. Probably charged. Telemarketers. Too early. You know, whatever. Charge is good for a status effect. But let's say I'll do the, let's say I need sharpen. Like, that's a better one right there, for example. So let's say I go ahead and I put on the Nirnholm in the main, always in main. Put in the sharpen because now it's not going to matter. It's going to give me a little bit more penetration on top of it if I need it. If I not, I can take anything else. But then I go in and then look. Now I'm at 64% crit, right? That's a little too high for me, to be honest with you. So I probably would go with one this, and I'd probably go with maybe a sword or something. But for any sake, let's say I do it and I drop it down. Now I'm at 60. That's kind of ideal for me, right? So I'll go with the sword. Let's say I need a dagger and then I need a sword to get my ideal stats. No matter what I do, right, I am giving up the monster set for a double stacked set. $38, almost $39. That's without any applied effect. Now I think if I get the sword, I think I'm actually going to deal more than the mace because I think I might be close to pen. Well, probably not. Probably not close. But if you put in 5 and I put on the sword, I'll probably get more. So let's check that out real quick. Now, mind you, I don't have the ideal enchantments on. Yeah. I lose a little bit because of the penetration. But given the fact that the tank will apply, if I get the major fracture applied, it's going to deal a lot more damage. Get the 60. And then I get that proc effect on the bleed. $4,444. Yeah. 5,001. There's the tick. 4-4 crit. 261. That's crazy. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4,001. 4 Yeah. This actually might be a pretty sick configuration too. I'm banking more on the huntings. I'll have to do a lot of testing, like run up one pen, whatever. That might be way too much. Whatever. I have to sit down and do the math. Excuse me. But there it is, guys. They need to do something with the set. It's too whatever for Chaotic Whirlwind, and they should reword it on the tooltip. If anything, just reword the tooltip. You know, it's so whatever. And no increase. You know, RNG, it's good, I guess. Whatever. If you want to go ahead mechanic-wise, you know, uptimes you know, maintaining resources. Other than that, ugh. Yeah, David, I'm going to agree. Monster sets. If you have Maelstrom weapons and you have Vet DSA weapons, you're not going to want a monster set. You're not. I'll be honest. I'm not saying the M word. Please don't think you're tricking me or I'm tricking myself into saying it. But with this update, if you have them, you don't need them. I'm going to say that for the record. You won't need them. But if you have them, you're not going to want to wear a monster set at all. You'll say, fuck a monster set. Give me a double stack static with the fucking Master and Maelstrom weapons. That's what you're going to say. Why? Because the fucking uptime. It's 100% with a crit. Like Uology just said. It's true. I wish it wasn't that way. How will you roll your tunes in the future? Double stack or stick with monster sets? I don't want to think about it, really. I'm so used to the monster sets. There's still going to be applications to monster sets. But with this update, I don't think I've ever been more swayed to want to go back to VMA. Let's put it that way. I hate VMA because the way the traits used to drop, the way you could go in there and you walk out with a defending sword. Like, what the fuck? So now you can, you know, go ahead and change it, right? You can change that now. So all of a sudden I have a defending sword. Yeah. Well, I mean, we were up until now because the uptimes and proc effects. Even if without crit, the damage applied effects were good. But right now with these changes, I can't say you won't run them or you can't. There will be times that some will be effective, but it's making them less attractive for sure. Now, it's making the master weapons a lot more attractive. It is. It is. I'm not going to lie. It is making them way more attractive. A lot of people were like, oh, they shit on my master weapons. And oh, they shit on my Maelstrom weapons. Because you didn't see you had to give up something for the gain. So now I can run 2 statics, double up. And now I can run Maelstroms without having to lose any DPS. Yeah, exactly, Uology. Plus 3 or 4 viable traits. A lot to play with. It is what it is. This change is real. It's a factor. It is significant. It is a very, very significant factor. Like I said, you're not going to need it. Majority of your content, you're not going to need it. But let's go back into that with your trial sets. Trial sets. I have trial sets. Certain sets I'm never going to fucking use because Slayer is on the back burner. The Minor Slayer is on back burner compared to your basic stats. People hate it. People were like, oh, you know, I run Moon Dancers. It's best in slot. I'm like, fuck Moon Dancers since fucking Horns of the Reach. Are you fucking kidding me? With all the boost stats? Fuck. I can run a standard with a back-end stack with a monster proc with my Valkyns, and I'm still pushing out more damage than fucking Moon Dancers. It's just the way it is. You know, because I can't control Moon Dancer's enchantment or a proc, which one I'm going to get. And then on top of it, I have a double static on my dual wield. And that's significant, right? Now, for Magicka users, if they're going to go with this type of configuration with no monster set, say you're a Magic user, right? And you're going to go with this configuration, no monster set. You're not going to use it, right? You don't want to fucking use it. Why? Because you're going to use, guess what? You're going to use a Maelstrom Destro, right? Wall of Elements or Wall Blockade, whatever. Pick your poison. Now, what are you going to do with the back bar? Because there's no Maelstrom or BMA weapons, dual wields that benefit Magicka. Guess what we're going to go back to? Oh, that's right. Say hello back to Torok's pack. Say hello to it. Nirnholm pack is back. Yep. It's true. Why? Because I'm getting all the base and I'm increasing all my abilities effects. It's just what's going to happen. As much as I love my monster sets, I'm probably going to sack them, to be honest with you, David. It's probably going to happen on a lot of my builds. I'll probably be back in VMA and Vet DSA. I don't want to be, but I probably will be. I'm not going to lie to you. I probably still will run some builds with monster sets. But, unfortunately, the devs just made this too tempting. I haven't been there since one Tamriel, and now I want to go back. Why? Because I'm not going to want a monster set. I'm not going to want it. Fuck the proc. Give me all damage. It's true. So true. All right, guys. Yeah, proc. They're killing proc. Proc is dying. They're killing it. They're killing the proc sets. All right. So if you have any questions or comments, please post below. I want to thank everybody for watching today, and once again and always, have a nice day.